Hey guys, do you weigh yourself too often? Because some people choose to weigh themselves daily. Some people even weigh themselves 2 or 3 times a day, every time they go to the toilet. Others will weigh themselves weekly, and some just avoid the scales completely. So I just wanted to share my thoughts around weighing with you. First of all, I call it the numbers in the box, because while they can gauge what our weight is at that specific moment in time, they are just that. They are numbers in a box that gauge where we are. But I've seen so many people get obsessed with these numbers to the point where they're not successful because they're worrying too much about the numbers. And in reality, if you are following a balanced diet, or if you are following a program where you are in a calorie deficit, you will lose weight. It may take a while, but if you trust in the process, it will happen. Now let's think about some of the negative effects weighing too often can have. So what can happen is we don't see instant results, and therefore we tell ourselves it's not working and we give up. Or the other might happen, we see a drop of 3 or 4 pounds instantly because our glycogen stores have changed in our body, and we think, hooray, it's working, I'm losing weight, I'll have a treat, I'll reward myself with food. So sometimes weighing too often can have that negative effect. Really, you should be looking at your weight loss over a month at a time to see if it's working. And also try and look at things scientifically. So if you are under eating by a couple of hundred calories a day, that's absolutely brilliant. But as a pound of fat is roughly 3,500 calories, that is quite a few weeks before you're going to see much of a loss on the scales. And even then, because of how complex our body is, and water fluctuations in our body, and time of the month for ladies, and everything else that is going on, you may only see a pound here and there. But if you trust in the process and you're happy with the process that you are following, then eventually you will see a difference. Now, there are other ways of measuring your success. You may choose to measure yourself, so to take your measurements on your bust, your waist, your hips, your thighs, your arms, and use that as a gauge. You may use clothes sizes, or maybe you have not so much a measurable goal in terms of your size or your weight, but what about a goal of, I've achieved if I've exercised 3 times this week, or I've achieved if I've done 10,000 steps a day. Because sometimes thinking in that way can be far more helpful and far more powerful to achieve, because that is in your control. You can absolutely achieve that amount of exercise or those amount of steps, and that is something that you can say, yes, I've done, and tick off your goal rather than ticking off the pounds that you have lost. So just to recap, think about your thoughts around the scales and whether you obsess about the scales. Think about whether it's time to find other ways of measuring your success. And if you want to listen to more about this, then listen to my podcast all about weighing and the obsession we have with the scales.